This is just a sample of the audiobook. To get the complete audiobook, access the link posted in the first comment.
The tranquil sounds of chirping crickets and the occasional brush of leaves in the breeze contrast with the scent rising from the courtyard at the center of this small cluster of homes. A putrid smell of decaying human flesh hovers over the city. A few days earlier, a familiar scene had played out here. Groups of men arrived in pickup trucks, faces concealed behind headscarves and carrying large black banners. Although armed with light firearms and homemade explosives, they used long knives as they went about inflicting violence upon the local inhabitants. Remnants of the local police force and militia scattered as the newcomers arrived, and those who failed to flee fast enough were quickly rounded up and gruesomely executed in the town square. Their remains, disfigured, dismembered, and mounted for public display, fill the night air with the smell of death. The town had witnessed this scene countless times over the past decades, as one violent group after another descended upon the inhabitants to assert their dominance. Each attack began with violence and ended with the installation of repressive laws and codes of conduct, violations of which led to more death and dismemberment. But on this otherwise peaceful night, the villagers hear something different. Through the air, a subtle new sound emerges, a faint hum that seems to come from all directions. Above, patches of the starry night sky go dark for a moment, then the stars return. Hundreds of metal cylinders with short, stubby wings pass overhead. At first glance, one might presume a very large squadron of fighter jets are passing over the city at low altitudes. Only they seem to be flying much more slowly and quietly. And there are no explosions or gunfire, just the hum of hundreds of low-flying drone aircraft, which look like the cruise missiles that have become all too familiar in conflicts in this region. As they pass overhead, bay doors open and small buzzing objects fall out by the thousands. The few villagers who happen to be awake have become so accustomed to violence that they brace themselves for it, waiting to see where and when the explosions will begin. But unlike prior times when aircraft flew overhead and bombs dropped below, this time there are no explosions. There are no bright flashes or buildings crumbling around them. All the villagers can tell is that a swarm of buzzing machines briefly hovered over their homes and then seemed to disappear entirely. Then the quiet night returned, undisturbed.